of attack, according to the wind, is shooting up, and our RPMs are shooting up. When we turn, the helicopter will turn, and then as that load comes into the turn, that's when the RPMs start coming up. Let's keep it climbing to about 1500. We'll go down by the Captree Bridge, or by Robert Moses there, and we'll try it again. That's where on those turns, that's where you got to think, okay, I'm about to turn. My airspeed's 65 knots, so I don't want to mess with my airspeed at all. That's beautiful. It's what I want. So as I turn, I'm going to adjust the collective if I need to. If RPMs shoot up, I'm going to raise collective just a little bit, just a little nudge, and then as I finish the turn, I can lower it back to exactly where it was. If your airspeed's like at 70 knots, 75 knots on a turn, man, slow it down. And if you slow it down, also raise collective. If your airspeed's really low, well, now you got to get your RPMs back up. The only way to do that is to lower collective or to pull half cyclic, but you don't have any more half cyclic to pull. You don't want to go too slow. So you're going to have to lower collective to get your RPMs and get some airspeed as well. Once you have some airspeed, you can lose a little bit, and that'll help you with your RPMs as well.
All right, 1600.
All right, we're going to enter, and we're going to recover at about 500 feet because we got some cars down here. There's one right below us right there. Okay, right now I just want to do a straight in auto, and I want you to focus on the outside 70% of the time. Focus on the inside 30% of the time. Airspeed's perfect right now. RPMs are good, manifold pressure's good, carb coming up, trim is down, lights are out, gauges are green, fuel is good. Keep us along the center here. So go with the cyclic. Ready? And you're going to do the entry. I'm going to follow. In 3, 2, 1. Collective down, right pedal, half cyclic.
Whoa.
That's all right. I got
Half cyclic.
Okay. It's totally normal that the nose is more to the right because we're drifting into the wind. So let's get so airspeed's looking good. Eyes outside. Look at your compass and your horizon. Okay, horns coming on. Just lower the collective a little bit. Pull half cyclic a little bit. It comes right. You're at 70 knots. You got so much speed you can lose. 10 knots. Let's slow it down even more. Beautiful. All right, let's recover. Very nice. Good job. It was a nice fast auto, 70 knots, but hey, whatever. You got to do what you got to do.
And what happened when the RPM shot up? That was from just putting too much aft in, I guess?
On the entry?
Yes.
Yeah, you pulled aft and we didn't put it back forward.
So I kept it back too long. So when you enter it, because I've been following you on the entry, it's just back and then bring it back to where it was.
Yes, the reason we're pulling half cyclic, let's keep a nice climb going. The reason we're pulling half cyclic is because the air is coming into the rotor disc like this. As soon as we descend, the air wants to come here. A little bit of half cyclic just helps that, and then you put it right back forward.
Gotcha.
If we don't pull the half cyclic, it takes an extra, 2, 3, 4 seconds to get your RPMs back. Well, in the low inertia system like we have here, you may not have 3 or 4 seconds. It might go down too low. So that half cyclic just guarantees it stays high. And then after that, you manage it. Everything about an auto rotation is energy management. You have your altitude, you have your airspeed, and you have your rotor RPMs.
I believe I read it was about a Robinson, the Robinson helicopters that some people put blade weights in.
Yeah, on some of the newer models, on the Beta 2s, they put I think it was 2.5 pounds on each blade, right at the tip, just to give it a little bit more inertia. The R44, it has, let's keep it up at 65. The R44, it has bigger blades, heavier blades. They still call them a low inertia system, but they're not really. Oh my God, you enter the auto and the RPM doesn't even move. It'll move on you if you do crazy things, but if you can auto an R22, man, an R44 is like, are you serious? That's it, And everything bigger, everything after that is also that much easier. on the Schweitzer that I was training with, you know, when you enter the auto, you leave the collective down. The only time you bump it up is if you have too much RPMs, but most of the time it just stays in the green. It doesn't want to go slower, and it doesn't really want to go faster. So when you think about it, we're above the ocean, so we're 1,000 feet above the ground, right? You want to flare at about 50 feet. So you basically have 1,000 feet to go down. That's one energy. Now, as soon as you enter the auto, you're constantly losing it. Okay, that's in the back of your mind. Now, your airspeed you maintain throughout the whole thing. In more advanced autos, you can slow down to 0, descend vertically, and then get your airspeed back, and then flare. But for now, all we're doing is just maintaining your RPM and just learning how to auto-rotate the helicopter and how to recover properly on the flare. And then the last piece of energy that you have is your RPMs, and you're going to keep those constant until the very, very bottom, when you have no more altitude and no more airspeed. So that's all you have. You pull collective, you settle to the ground, and that's it.
All right, we're at how high you want me at? We're almost at 1,400.
This is good. We'll do another auto. We'll recover at about 500 feet. I want you to look outside, focus on, play around with these. All right? All right, carb heat is on. Remember, trim is this way in today's case. We don't want to let the helicopter drift over the water too much. And because the reason I say that is because I never practice an auto in a place that I can't actually land. I can land on the beach. Check that out, we got a little seaplane right there. You see it?
Yeah.
Cool. Anyway, so I can land on the beach if I have to, but I can't land, you know, past the surf. I mean, we'll just sink, and we'll get cold, and my phone will... All right, so we're looking outside, 65 knots, and 3, 2, 1. Good job. Look at those RPMs. Now just lower the RPMs just a little bit. Good. Now bring them back up. There you go. Hold it right there. Good. I notice you really like 70 knots. Slow it down. Don't move the collective. Just slow it down a few knots. Now you're gonna have to be a little more aggressive. If you do it that slowly, then it won't move. There you go. Good. All right, let's recover. Very good. So when you have 70 knots and the RPMs are blaring like that, just not like abruptly yank it back, but yank it back, lose 2-3 knots, and if you have to, yeah, lower the collective a little bit. It's honestly, it's the wind fluctuating it more than anything, because that was a stable, level, very nice auto. You locked it in, which is what I like to say. Some people say set it and forget it. You locked in your cyclic. Your compass didn't move up or down from the horizon. Your airspeed was constant. It's just the RPMs kind of played around on us, but that's how it is on windy days like today.
I think once I get more comfortable too, I'll be moving the cyclic a little bit more. If you say slow it down, you know, I'm nervous that I'm in an auto rotation. Yeah.
That's all right. I think that one was really nice. Good, we're out of island. We'll fly to the Captree Bridge, navigate back to the airport. From this portion of the flight until we're back at the airport, you're in charge of radios and or carb heat and trim. So trim it says here before landing, carb heat full on for landing. And does it say anything about trim? Doesn't say anything about trim.
Trim off.
Okay, good. There it is. Trim off. So trim is off right now. I'm going to turn it back on. Alrighty. So trim is on. We're set for forward flight. So it's not a big deal. If we're flying 65 knots, 600 feet, what happens if you just let go of the collective? Go ahead, just let it go. It sinks a little bit, but not too much. So you can slow down a little bit and get carb heat and trim if you need, or, and this is a better practice to do, just creep your hand back a little bit, pull full friction on the collective, and it'll stay there. Most important thing, eyes outside and cyclic level, because we don't want to start doing this thing. We don't want to start doing that, right? Good. All right. Same thing goes for operating the radio, so try to think before you do something and get two things done at once.
Now when we get closer, we're calling tower, and we're going to tell them helicopter 8536 Yankee to Long Island Tower about, you tell them miles out from the field. They get ATIS first.
Right, let's get our ATIS first so we know what information to tell them. And Captree Bridge is about, I think, just over 10 miles away. So once you're a couple miles away from Captree Bridge, and mind you, the wind is coming out of the west and the north. So when we start turning towards the airport, we're going to be flying along pretty quick. So we got to get ready for that ahead of time. And yeah, you can just ballpark it, So, you see the big white building over there?
Yeah.
That's called the Federal Building. Everybody knows that it's called that. So you can just say at the Federal Building. The big park on the south shore, that's called Heckscher Park.
Okay. Do you want us crossing over the bay, or do you want us to wait till we get to the bridge?
Yeah.
Past the bridge?
Yeah, like right before the bridge, we can cross over to that little inlet, and then we'll try and fly directly over the bridge. Now on days like today with winds out of the northwest, Farmingdale Airport, all their airplanes are lining up over here above the Captree Bridge. So what I'm going to do is, just for fun, I'm going to listen to their frequency and see what they say. Good job on the straight and level, by the way. Pick an altitude, pick an airspeed, lock it in, fly. I can see your thumbs are red and not white with pressure, Good. I don't hear anybody at Farmingdale.
This is 6 Echo Romeo, runway 32, clear touch and go.
Clear touch and go, 6 Echo Romeo.
Wind check.
Wind 32013, gust 2 tree. With A9 Delta, turn left Alpha 5, ground point 6, have a good day.
Alpha 5 over to ground, A9 Delta, you too.
So you said you went over some of these lights, right?
Yes.
What about low fuel?
1 gallon of usable fuel.
And what would you do?
Land as soon as practical. Or immediately.
Land immediately. It means you have 1 gallon left, and you're constantly burning it. So where would you go here?
The parking lot.
That's where I would go to. That seaplane isn't coming back over our shoulder, is it?
No, not that I see.
Roger. Head on a swivel. Farmingdale's not that busy, and wind is gusting over 20 knots. It's at 2:30, and it's coming out of the northwest.
1 tree, gust 2 tree.
Tower, Cherokee 38433, Captree 2000 inbound Juliet.
Cherokee 38433, report tower straight in, runway 32, report the initial line.
Report straight in 32 over initial line, 433.
What? What did I do?
Lights are out, gauges are green, feels good.
No.
Wind 31017, gust 2 tree.
Whenever your instructor isn't saying anything,
He looked at something.
he did something.